It's literally been a minute since we had a weekly healing circle. So welcome back. Welcome back. We have quite a bit to talk about. I am just getting my tea together real quick. This is the sugar cookie tea. Oh my god, so good. By Sips by. I've been like just drinking it almost like every single day. It's so good. But I hope everybody's doing good. Oh my god, it's so good. It literally tastes like a sugar cookie. Let me know if you guys can hear me fine on YouTube. If you see me looking at two different places, it's because I have TikTok right here. I have YouTube right here. So just letting you know. We're gonna do the weekly forecast for the week. We had Venus move into Pisces, which is literally, listen, Venus in Pisces for the next couple of weeks is gonna definitely be very impactful, because one of the things about Venus being in Pisces is that because Venus is exalted in Pisces, and what that means for those who don't know what an exaltation is in astrology, basically Venus feels the most comfortable, it thrives the best in Pisces, is able to use and express its Venusian energies the best in Pisces. And so because Venus rules love, pleasure, and money, and Pisces is a sign that's very creative. So all types of creativity, all types of spirituality, and really navigating your own spiritual emotions. But it's a very, very creative sign. The way that Venus in Pisces moves a lot of the time is very romantic when it comes to love and relationships. When it comes to your spirituality, it can be very, like, you might be doing a lot of self-care, or even just diving and connecting, or feeling a lot more grounded within your spiritual practice within the next couple of weeks. Throughout the next couple of weeks, you also might just be getting a lot of creative downloads. Like, you might just be like on a roll, like just feeling like, oh my god, I'm just in the zone. Like I feel so like this. You might be tapping into creative projects, or getting like messages spiritually for creative projects that you're supposed to be working on as well. So it can be a time of a lot of things, like especially especially if you've been in a point where you're like trying to figure out what your goals are, what your dreams are, what you want to work on, what you want to focus on. Especially because Pisces season is all about reflection, and how you it's literally the end of the astrological year, before we go into Aries season, which is the beginning of the astrological year. So Pisces energy is very reflective, and within the reflections you can get inspired by your own reflections. You can get inspired by a new something fresh, or something kind of like pulling you in a certain direction because you have exited a different direction. It's a very healing time as well. But it ultimately puts you in a very creative space. And so throughout the next couple of weeks, you might be kind of listening to a lot of music. You might be, especially because Pisces rules all form of creativity. So writing, listening to music, theater, acting, shows, like you can literally be like wanting to binge watch your favorite show. That might be the way that you want to reflect right now. It's how you want to use the energy is really up to you, and how you end up gravitating towards how you use the energy is also up to you. It's a process, so don't like overwhelm yourself or feel like you need to force yourself to use Pisces energy in a different way. So like, let's say right now you just have a lot of love stuff going on, but you're like, oh, but I want to focus spiritually. Like, just because you're being tugged in a different direction doesn't mean that you're not working still with the energy. It's just a little bit different. I got a question said, hi, did you go to Egypt? No, that was actually postponed. I will be putting up the like link for when the trip is gonna happen. Due to everything that's going on within the Middle East right now and everything that's going on in Egypt right now, it's not the best time to go. So that's why I had to like postpone it. So we're still gonna go. It's just not yet. So I will let you guys know when we, when we get there. And also you guys would have definitely seen a vlog by now had I gone. So no, we did not go, but we will be going. And I'm really hoping that, praying everything, genocide stop, stop. So that, peace could be had and we could just like move forward. But unfortunately, it's a lot going on, and let's not even get into the politics because it just pisses me off a lot. It just pisses me off a lot. Anyway, so that's mainly Venus and Pisces energy. Let yourself be creative if you want to. If you're just like in your feelings and you just are kind of like self-care mode, do that. If you are just kind of like in your head, in your feelings, like reflecting, thinking about someone from the past, you're very much doing Venus and Pisces things. You might still there could be an aspect of Venus and Pisces that can be very like Mercury retrograde-ish when it comes to like exes and stuff like that. Like if you're feeling like tugged and pulled towards a different relationship, or like to a past relationship, like if you're thinking about your ex and stuff like that, that's normal Pisces energy anyway. So don't feel like, oh my God, you're in your head. Also, by the time that we go into the end of the month, Mercury retrograde is literally happening. So if you're literally feeling really tugged and pulled into like thinking about your ex or something like that, trust and believe the energy is there for it. What you can ask yourself really, it's like, okay, have I healed from this relationship? What did I learn from this relationship? What is still holding me in this relationship? All of those questions are really valid to process and think about. So yeah. That's good. You still get to go and do all the beautiful rituals, girl. I thought I was having PTSD. No, it's still, the trip is still gonna happen. It's just like the whole thing, like everything that happens in the fall, I was just like, nope, there's no way that we can go right now. Just spiritually, energetically, but also with what's happening, it's just not a safe time to go. So, but we're still gonna go, but it's just not gonna be now. But yeah, for sure on the rituals that are still waiting for us to do them. So when it comes to the collective messages for the week, asking the ancestors, and also obviously I'm going to be using this deck, which I believe is called, I think it's is it the Mermaid Tarot? I think it's the Mermaid Tarot. It might be the Ocean Tarot. It's one of them. It's linked down below if you're on YouTube. This is like when I'm working with the element of water, and because we're in Pisces season, I always use this deck. And I just love this deck so much because it just really helps to connect to the water energies. Anyway, so collective message for this week, ancestors, what do we need to know? Okay. All right. Yo, the way, like, also because, the new moon, I mean, we're still under new moon energies. Make sure you go watch that video breakdown on my YouTube, because I did break down those energies, and that still impacts this week. So make sure that you're also, wow, that's crazy. Make sure that you're also paying attention to that. It's so funny because before I was shuffling, this was the bottom of the deck, and now it's literally the bottom of the deck, which is the Ten of Swords, by the way. So bottom of the deck energies, we have the Ten of Swords, the Seven of Pentacles, and the Wheel of Fortune. So there's definitely a coming out of the rut happening, okay? Coming out of the rut happening. We have, for the cards of the week, we have the Six of Swords. So there is healing and has been healing that has been happening and that you should be working on. Like right now, if you are you're not actively actually using the Pisces energy the way it's supposed to, you might be having a harder time with this. It's really, really important for you to pay attention to your thoughts and also the way that you're being pushed into a certain direction. Because right now, this is the second card, the Two of Wands. So we're going from the Six of Swords to Two. That this energy is very like, hi, you're going to be moving into a different direction. And because you're moving into a different direction, you need to start walking towards that direction. Like you need to start making moves. It goes from, if you look at the cards, it starts with air and it goes into like wands. So that means it starts with your thoughts. Okay. You first choose, you're thinking about a direction. You're like, okay, you know what? I'm kind of thinking about doing this. And then it's like, okay, it's time to do this. Okay. It's the reason why this energy is very present is because of the Aries energy, not only in the chart, but because we are getting closer and closer to Aries season. And Aries season is like, go, 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 go. We don't have the time to waste. We don't have the time to be like lollygagging. Like we gotta go. We got things to do, places to be, things to see. I already made my decision about where I'm going, why I'm doing what I'm doing, why it needs to be done. And so we got to go. So right now you're going from the thought, like you should be very reflective this week, thinking about what is it? What direction? Where are you going? Why are you doing what you're going? Where are you? What is the direction? What are you choosing? And why? What is the purpose? What is the reason? What is drawing you? Where is the fire, the passion coming from? Why do you feel like this is the right place to go for you? Okay. Why do you feel like that is the best thing that you can personally do right now? We're having the Knight of Wands energy come up as well. Knight of Wands, one of the fastest moving, well, the second fastest moving knight in tarot. The Knight of Swords is the fastest, but the Knight of Wands is very passionate. It's the one that's starting off a journey, and that's like really like, you know what? I got my flame over here, and I already know what I need to do, so I'm gonna protect my peace from anything that tries to take away from my journey that I need to go on. But I already have my purpose. I've trained for this. I've like prepared myself mentally. Like I know where I need to be to do X, Y, Z, and B. Like I know why I need to do X, Y, Z, and B, and I'm putting in the work. Okay. I'm heading towards that direction. I know that I need to get up here somehow. I know I need to do that. That needs to happen. Right. Then we have the Five of Swords and the Fool energy. Okay. The Five of Swords and the Fool energy. So there are things that are still being released this week, especially when it comes to friends. Pay attention to the way that the Aquarius in the chart right now, pay attention to where it's hitting for you, because the Aquarius energy is definitely impacting the collective society, but also our friends, our relationships, not just like your own personal relationship with yourself, but I'm talking about like your interpersonal relationships. There's a lot of stuff going on with society as well. There might be some certain things that come up within the government or the news that will start like be the jump point of something shifting completely. Like it's the Fool's journey. It's almost like somebody is taking, they're like, you know what, fuck it. It's giving, you know what, fuck it energy, and we're just going to, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna rip the band-aid. I'm gonna just go. Because there's something about the Five of Swords that's like needs to be addressed. If you look at the card, it's like everybody's like suffering. And this is a really interesting representation of the Five of Swords energy, because you in the traditional Rider way, the Five of Swords energy is a little bit different than this. Yes, everybody comes out like everybody was fighting each other, and they obviously came out a little wounded, but the one person that's closest to like the screen is the one that has like the sword, like, you know what, I defeated, kind of like this is energy of being able like actually defeating the thing. But in this card, it's like nobody wins. Nobody's really winning here. Like there's maybe the penguin, but nobody's really winning here. Also the representation of the ice is very telling as well. It's like something that it's been a long time coming. It's been a long time coming. There's a breakdown. There's like a melting of the, when you're like unfreezing something, when it's like it's like turning back to a different temperature. It's connecting the way that ice relates to water, like how it goes from this solid structure all the way into turning and becoming part of this liquid form again, being part of this collective, and then how it interacts, right? Because a lot of the time that when you put ice in a liquid and it starts to melt, you start getting a watered down drink, unless it's water itself, right? Okay, you start getting a whole ass watered down drink. So there's something about the way that whatever's happening within the collective, like, I, on a personal note, I do feel like we're personally a little bit more motivated to, you know, focus on our own goals this week. That's really the way that is shifting. But with the way the collective is, there's something happening that's like hurting everybody. It's harming everybody, but it will, the harm that is being done is going to trigger a jumping point where it's like the fool's energy is like, you know what? You know what? Because the fool energy, it's always like, you know what, this might not be the smartest thing, or me choosing this path, I don't know if I'm going to get what I want, or I don't know if I'm going to end up where I fully want to be, but I'm going to take the chance anyway. And I'm going to take my bearings. I'm going to take what I have, and I'm going to try to make it work some way, somehow. I'm going to just try. And that's the energy that this week is giving collectively. There is a sort of, and I think that's also why the bottom of the deck is like 10 of Swords, 7 of Pentacles, and the Wheel of Fortune is like something is something. I know a lot of people are really, really tired, especially about a lot of the collective stuff that's happening, especially in the US. It's a lot of BS happening within the US right now. It's real bad. But some people are to the point where it's like, there were things that are promised. Okay, Wheel of Fortune, right? So the wheel can turn positive or negative. It can be a positive thing. It could be a negative thing. Okay. And so we have the 7 of Pentacles, which means that the wheel has been turning towards, there's been this idea or this kind of belief or kind of goal set in place of, okay, you're waiting for this thing to fully manifest. You've been waiting for something, this whether it's this intention or this goal, when it could be like a collective goal. This really reminds me of the idea of the American dream specifically, because it is this idea that if you do all of these things and you get all these things, then you'll be able to, you know, you'll be fine. But it's kind of like our generation, especially with millennials and Gen Z, we'll know that what we've actually gotten is more of this. It's like we've had to try to just overcome a lot of the bullshit throughout this entire period of time. So there is a lot of generational stuff happening right now that is triggering. Also keep in mind with the way Pluto is moving, with the way, like, I'm telling you, the Aquarius energies is triggering generational change right now. It's not just on a personal level, but it's on a collective level. How are we collectively being impacted? And right now, if you're on your personal journey, on your everyday life, if you're like, you know what, I am good, I'm actually doing well for myself, I'm working on some things, X, Y, C, and B, but then you look at your relationship with the collective and you're like, yo, the collective, the way everybody collectively is not in a good place, like that's gonna trigger this. This is what's gonna be this 10 of Swords. There will be a video that I'm going to be making on Jupiter going into Gemini this year, because that's going to be a whole nother situation. But a lot of it, you see how this week starts off being triggered by the mind. 6 of Swords is it's our personal, like, we're deciding, right? And then we go into collective energies, is more 10 of Swords, where it's just like, we tired. We tired of the bullshit. Yeah, there's a lot going on. So just because something is going very well for you, or if you're just like, you know what, spiritually, I've been working on manifesting this for myself, but collectively, we are not where we're supposed to be. Don't be surprised if some folks, especially if someone is just like, you know what, okay, I'm going to react based on the collective energies, based on the way that it's just like the ice is watering down the drink. I can't even taste it properly. I was promised this very delicious drink, and all I'm getting is this watered down drink, and that's not what I wanted. That's not what I wanted. So why am I going to settle for this version of the what I wanted, right? That's the collective energies. Why are we settling for the watered down version of what we should be having? Okay. I did for this deck. This is the what's called the seashell oracle, which I love. I did an unboxing and a flip through for you guys. You guys are gonna get that video probably tonight or tomorrow, so stay tuned for it. But it's gonna be on YouTube. I love this deck so far. It's so pretty. Anyway, collective energies. What do we need to know collectively? Oh, hold on. Okay, one more card. What do we need to know? Collective messages. We'll take one more. There we go. There it is. Okay, bottom of the deck. Crab. Reminiscent of Cancer energies. Okay. Crab. Adaptability, rebirth, independence. You see that rebirth energy? That independence energy? I'm telling you, on an independent way, like, there is an aspect of things that, mind you, the bottom of the deck is wave, which is force, repercussion, and movement. So there are things moving. It's happening. It is. I think there's certain things that are going to be unavoidable anyway, but I'm just saying certain things are shifting in a very, very particular way. We have perfection, spirals, and growth. Okay. Then we have me pronouncing some of these words. Ephemerality, nostalgia, evanescence. And that's on the, specifically if you've been impacted by the Pisces energy of reflection, then that's one of the energies for this week. And then we have power, luxury, and effort. And that's really like speaking to some of the government energies when it comes to power and how things are being used as well. We have, we talked about the crab. Starfish, shedding, renewal, and innovation. Okay. And then we also have sand dollar, money, sweetness, and peace. So there are, like, again, on a personal note, certain things are happening in a certain way. But on a different note, it's like we're also being impacted. We're also going through this renewal. We're also initiating change personally within ourselves, but there's also stuff going on around us that are being very, very loud. We are growing collectively, but it's almost like it's the energy of I'm out here trying to do something and then you keep trying to drag me back, and I don't know how much longer I can take it. Like, how much longer? There's some that do not have the patience for this type of effery, and this is one of those times where it can also feel like certain things are going good for certain people, but not other people. And it's just like the injustice of the thing is what's also triggering that change. It's the power imbalance. It's the power imbalance triggering a renewal, triggering that rebirth, triggering the change. Oh, Jesus Christ. Okay. I just got attacked by the cards, as I usually do, because Spirit likes to completely troll. Hold on. I gotta pick this up. Talking about power imbalances, we got peace. We got this whole stack. So we got peace, protection. Okay. Peace, protection, wisdom, centering. And again, this really goes back to like how we're navigating our own personal journeys. There is a centering on yourself, and this is the kind of requisite energy for Aries energy, because Aries is the energy, it's the season to focus on you. It is not like there's a reason why Aries and Libra mirror each other energetically, okay? Astrologically, Libra rules the two, like the relationships, you with others, you with somebody else, you with a partner, you with a business partner, you and XYZ and B. But Aries rules you, like your journey, your path, not you and XYZ and B, but you and your journey. So there is a distinction between how you center yourself. Also, keep in mind that the sun is exalted in Aries, which means that the sun, okay, the sun that rules the ego, your inner child, your willpower, okay, your vitality. In Aries, it does its best work in Aries because Aries is all about like, okay, let's get it going. What do I want to do? What do I want to will into this world, right? What is my focus? What am I doing? That's literally what Aries rules. So the exaltation of it, this is why Aries season is like the jumpstart point for the year and why a lot of things happen in the spring. This is why things go like this and Aries season kind of flies by. But it is a jumping point for you to do a lot of different things and create a lot of changes as well. You have surrender. There is that aspect of, again, it's that you know what, fuck it energy. It's that you know what, fuck it energy. It's the full energy that's giving the surrender. Because you see how the butterflies in here are just like transformation, change, something being shifted, especially in multiple different areas. It's not just one thing, but it's like the way the surrendering is happening is going to trigger that change, is going to trigger the fool's journey. Because it's like, you know what, if I surrender, what do I get from surrendering? What do I receive? What am I letting go? What weight am I taking off myself? Okay, we have love. Again, it goes without saying, or it should go without saying, Venus is exalted in Pisces. I said it earlier. So that means that Venus in Pisces is some of the most romantic shit you've ever seen. Honestly, no lie. Venus in Pisces, not that, you know, people with Venus and Pisces placements can't be toxic, because some of y'all's out there don't be using your powers properly. Okay, some of y'all out there don't be using your powers properly, but Venus and Pisces energy is great for romance, is literally great for romance. Like when I'm talking about like being romantic, talking to someone, or having, or even manifesting love, really good time to do that, especially if it's like, especially like past life or like karmic and stuff, especially because Mercury retrograde is coming through. If you're not trying to focus on an ex, but you're trying to call in a love, a love that you've very much had experiences before. Again, Pisces rules reflection, so there's the aspect of the past in there implied. You could definitely call on that right now. So if you're like, you know what, I would really love to, you know, meet XYZ and B person, or have a connection that I feel at home with. There's only one way you would feel at home with a connection, and that is if you already experienced that connection before and it feels like home, it feels familiar. There's a reason, and that's because there's an established line within the two. But the love is coming through, and you might see a lot of love things happening as well, some doors opening. You might meet someone during this like week as well, or even during the next couple of weeks, because of Venus being in Pisces. We also have intention, because we talked about this from the jump. What is it that we're doing? What is it that you want to do? What is it? What? It's this. It's this. What is the decision? What do you want? What do you want, and why? What are you going to do about it? Is really the question. Okay, the Six of Swords. You're making a decision mentally. There's a mental decisiveness. Like, it's happening. What is happening? Why do you need it to happen? What is the purpose? What is the reason? Why? What is being decided this week that's going to shift and change how you're going to proceed during the year? Okay, new beginnings. New beginnings. We've been talking about this whole entire 30 minutes. New beginnings. Okay, change. This is what I mean. There's a lot of energy of shifting, opening, like certain things change. Perception. Ooh, perception. And I love that the next card is power. Okay, because I'm telling you, there's a personal something happening, but there's also some government shit happening. Keep in mind, that because the exaltation of Venus being in Pisces, and then once the sun goes into Aries, you're gonna have like that's multiple exaltations, okay, happening. So there's a lot of energy within those times when the sun, there's a reason why sun in Aries feels like so energetic, and like why we have a lot of collective energies during the time, because it's like we're tapping deeper into that Aries energy. We feel like purposeful, we feel determined, we want to do certain things. Okay, so on a personal note, there is tapping into that power, our own personal power. And because again, the sun is exalted in Aries, and the sun rules our willpower, like what we want, what we're doing, what we're deciding, what we embody as well, because there is that aspect of when you're feeding your ego, that's also the things that you want, that's also the things that you want to attain, the things that you want to have, the things that you want to experience, all of those things. That's really tapping into that energy of power. But also when it comes to the collective energies, where's the power imbalances? Okay, the perception. What is the perception? What is, you see this? You see this up here? What is the perception? What is the perception? What is the perception? There's a difference. I got into an argument with this guy a couple of years ago, who happens to be a Gemini, because of course it is. We got into this argument about power. What is power, right? And I understand power very well as someone who is a Capricorn, like, let's just be real. But he was confusing personal power for like collective power, okay? And I understand that there are some people that actively like to be delusional about power collectively. And I also understand that some people like to take the state of like manifestation sometimes a little bit unrealistic sometimes, because it just feels like, it almost feels like you're self-gaslighting yourself when you try to say things like, you know what, I'm the one that has the power, nobody controls me, no government controls me, like stuff like that, when we all know that we have to deal with certain collective energies that we collectively fuse and give power to, which is what gives them the power in the first place. And so I was trying to explain that there's a difference between personal power and collective power. And he was like, no, power is just power. And I was like, that's not what it is. Because if someone can walk into this room and be like, you know what, you going to jail, and I have the power to put you there, and I'm going to lock you up and you're going to be gone, you don't have personal power. Like, your personal power is being impacted during that time. Now, your personal power, it really is about what you can control, okay? But collective power can influence your own personal power. It can also block your own personal power. So there is this, like, when it comes to diving into power work, I understand wanting to have this perception of like, oh, well, you know, I'm all powerful and you know, like the people that like to do the manifestations. And I understand that my manifestation people, y'all be out here teaching people about manifestation. I get that. I understand. It's definitely important, but it's also important not to be delusional. Okay? It's important not to be delulu. Okay? Because as a Capricorn, I understand power in different ways, because my sign literally rules the government. Okay. I understand power in different ways because I experience power in different ways. Saturn teaches you, and just as a Capricorn, you go through the motions of understanding your own choices in the relationship of time that we have, how we relate to time, how we use our time, how time is our power, right? That's one of our as much as some people don't like to understand one of our abilities, and they just want to throw us into, oh, we just like to work, that's like our stereotype. Time is our superpower, because we're able to literally put time in certain like brackets and figure out, like, you know what, this is how I'm going to use my energy, my power, and this is what I'm going to focus on, and this is what I'm going to bring to life, this is what I'm going to create, this is the mountain that I'm going to climb. And that's that personal power. But then we also have the energy of Capricorn that collectively pushes to help the collective. You have to understand that generational signs Okay, generational signs, Capricorn being one of the generational signs because Saturn is a generational planet. Generational planets impact the collective energies. Okay, personal planets, that's your personal energies, right? That impact everybody, but your personal energies, how you navigate within your personal energies, versus the generational planets impact the generation and your relationship to your generation. There is a difference between that. And so when you're dealing with a generational sign, Capricorn being a generational sign, there's always an aspect to Capricorn energy that impacts the collective energies in some sort of way. And because Capricorn rules the government, the structure that is the government, the reason why it functions, the reason why it exists, the holding and coming together as a community and having the system be like, okay, well, we're allocating this money to this to help this, the way that government is supposed to run, all of those things are ruled by Capricorn energy. Okay, it's similar way that a business is ruled by all businesses are ruled by Capricorn energy, including like Taurus and stuff, but mainly Capricorn energy. That's what is ruled by, because the structure of a business, from like having a CEO to having a CFO to having like other people, like the finances, the people that do the what's it called, the IT and all that kind of stuff, like the different people in the different roles, the structure of that business is Capricorn energy. Okay, there's a reason, and it impacts the collective of the whole entire company in different ways. And so there's a difference between personal power and then and like collective power, because you could be a CEO and your decisions impact the collective power. What are examples of the personal planets? The sun is a personal planet. Mercury is a personal planet. Venus is a personal planet. Mars is a personal planet. The moon is a personal planet. Anything else is basically generational planet. Though Jupiter kind of swings in between generational but also personal. The reason being is because, I mean, Jupiter basically moves every single year. A year and some change from sign to sign. So what Jupiter does is that it basically sets the theme of the year. And I've talked about this before. Every time Jupiter changes signs, it sets the entire theme for the year. And we're going to talk about Jupiter moving into Gemini in a separate video, because we can't get into that today. That's going to be a whole nother conversation. But trust and believe that it's going to be a very powerful year creatively. That's all I'm going to say right now. But the personal planets are the ones that impact you literally personally. So Venus, love, pleasure, and money. How is that a collective focus? That's not a collective focus. That's you how you love, how you enjoy things, and how you have your money, right? Mercury, your mind, not the collective mind. That's more Uranus energy, right? Collective consciousness. Mercury, your mind, what you think, how you think, why you think the way you think, how you communicate. So that's kind of like the examples of the personal planets. Like Mars, that's your passion, your drive, how you fight, how you go to war, how you put your energy into things. It's not it's not a generational planet. It is a personal planet. Okay. Now, the generational planets are more collective. All of them are way more collective. Anytime Pluto is doing anything, it's transforming the entire collective. Anytime Uranus is doing something, it's impacting us collectively. Anytime Saturn is doing something, it's a collective shift. It's a collective change. The same for Neptune as well. It does have, especially when it comes to spiritual and creative, like how we are connected spiritually, the art that's coming out, like all of the things that the subconsciousness of the collective and the things that we're gravitated towards, like for example, if you look at millennials, there's certain things, like nostalgic things, that as a generation we can connect to, we can look back at and be like, oh my God, yo, you remember the time, and you can relate because it was your generation. That is a collective, like subconscious, like energy, especially relating to creative works. So that's part of how it relates to generational planet wise. And so when it comes to Saturn energy, because Saturn literally rules the government, and how the government impacts how we change, how we like navigate, it's a lot. It's a lot to kind of, it's a lot to deal with. It's a lot to change, but there's that the energy of power and understanding how power impacts you versus also how you impact it, and how it can become imbalanced, how it can become oppressive, how the power can literally be, you know, unbalanced in many ways. And so it's important to understand the perception Okay. One of the things that came out this year, there was an article talking about 2023 and how 2023 was one of the best for like consumers. We're just spending so much money. Never mind all the boycotts that are still literally happening right now. The perception that the media was trying to put out was focused on online sales for the year, and it didn't include the numbers for the last quarter of the year, because they knew that a lot of companies, like for example Starbucks, they got hit financially. They were literally telling people to stop protesting because the perception created a money downfall for them, but also because of all of the boycotts as well. So the perception is really important, because what they're telling us is that, oh my God, it was such a great financial year. Meanwhile, there's folks out there who are having a really hard time buying groceries because everything is so freaking expensive. And the relationship that we're having with like the government, like we know something, but then they're trying to tell us something else. So the perception of power is really important. Is really, really important. I don't know why, but for some reason, the royal family just like came to my mind. I don't know if something's happening this week with that, but I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised. Because there is this like this energy of the perception of power. And again, a lot of the time, power, especially with the royal family, that shit is an illusion, because they can literally just get rid of the whole royal family and just be like, you know what, we really don't need you, and just like be done with it. And that's a sentiment that, you know, a lot of people have over there. So it's really interesting. So I don't know what's gonna come out this week, but something's changing, something is shifting, there's a lot of shifts and changes happening. So pay attention to what's happening collectively, but also pay attention to your own personal journey and where you're feeling called to like navigate to, because you could also feel like doing like your own personal experience might be so different from what everybody else is experiencing. And that's really the thing to know. It's like you're not necessarily experiencing the same thing that everybody else is, and because you are having your own personal experience, which is still valid, by the way, what your dreams, your goals, those things are still valid. It's not like you shouldn't have dreams or goals or have your purpose. Like that's still part of who you are, right? But it's still important to note like what is also happening collectively, because you will be seeing some shit happening this week. That's the message. Okay, has the message coming through with that? It bees what it be. It bees what it bees. Yeah, this week is gonna be real. It's gonna be something. It's gonna be something. But anyway, y'all, that was the weekly healing circle. I hope that you guys got all the messages that you needed. Stay tuned for all of like the updates, because we're gonna have a workshop soon. I'm gonna give you guys all the information for that soon, so stay tuned with that. There's also gonna be a newsletter update on my website, so you guys will see that soon as well. If you are subscribed to my newsletter, if you're not, go to my website. The link is in my bio if you want to sign up for my newsletter, so that way you stay updated on all of the things. I love you guys so much. I will see you guys in the next video. We're gonna close it off for the night, but we are gonna be back next week. So stay tuned for all the weekly healing circles. And yeah, I love you guys. It was so nice being able to come back and, you know, doing the thing, and getting to connect with you guys. So have a great night. Stay blessed.